Namaskar. So firstly, thanks to Prem for inviting me. But I'm also upset with him for two reasons. This is called a graveyard shift. बढ़िया खाना खाने के बाद 1 घंटे के बाद थोड़ी सी हल्की सी नींद आती है. So I'm just going to repeat. Please repeat after me. Good afternoon. Fantastic. I can at least see people are awake. 15 minutes later, I don't know what will happen. Okay, so client engagement is my topic, and I was afraid, what do I say in client engagement? Because I'm talking to people who deal with clients and have had clients for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So I thought, let me try and do this differently. क्या कर सकता हूँ मैं? So let's start. So, we talk about technology, and we believe that technology is actually helping us, but many a times what happens is the client's expectations actually go much higher. Because there is technology, they expect far, far, far more higher engagement and efficient service. So as the cartoon says that 6 minutes, who has this kind of time? And that's reality in today's day and life. Nobody has the time. 2 minutes is too long. I am told by my ad agency कि अगर आपने फिल्म बनाई तो 30 seconds के ऊपर फिल्म होगी तो कोई देखता नहीं है. ठीक है? So technology has its benefits. Technology also has its challenges. We just need to be cognizant of that. Many a times we think that by sending technology to the client, we have communicated with the client, but actually it can be counterproductive. So we have to be very clear. Expectations of the clients have gone up, and we need to be careful. So what happens? And good customer experience actually leads to brand loyalty. And now I am going to tread on a lot of toes. Marketing सपने दिखाता है, sales product पिलाता है, service कभी सही होती है, कभी सही नहीं होती है. Sometimes the whole thing comes on you, when it's not efficiently done. But if it is loyalty, you get to share the goodies with the client. And that's what this whole thing is about. So only marketing, only sales, only service is not enough. You need to have a combination of the three, and that is what results in loyalty. And when loyalty happens, the sharing happens. So that's what this actually depicts, and that is so critical and important. And I really love this particular cartoon because, they say that customer service, it's not a department, it's an attitude. You can't teach attitude to people, very honestly. And that's the whole thing is the formula for good customer service, and it's highly complicated. If you ask somebody, what can I do to give good customer service? It's as complicated as that big board. So the right question to ask is, can I just be nice to the customer, right? It's as simple as that. If you are nice to the customer, then I think things work out very well. If you are true to the customer, the service level is actually very good. Rather than try something exotic, try something new, try something fanciful, try something chatbot or whatever these new GPTs are. If you just communicate and keep it simple, I think customers appreciate it much more. This is the only slide with Gyan. Okay? Very honestly, rest of the slides have no Gyan, but I think this is the only Gyan wala slide. And clearly this is a funnel which all of you know. I don't need to repeat this funnel, but effectively you start with a large amount of customers, and when you engage with them, and then you keep doing a follow-up, and then result in is you get a certain set of clients. So you may start with 100 and you get 10 clients, and then to keep those 10 clients efficiently engaged in communication is what is the key to your success and thus our success. So very, very important that whether we are the best or whether we are not the best, everybody goes through this funnel, and how efficiently you manage this funnel is the key to success. That's how it is. So let's look at the next slide, and this is something which I truly believe in. So I'll give you an example of this. Many of us have this obsession that I am managing 100 clients or 1,000 families, and now I want to go to the next 2,000 families and 3,000 families. And that's as complex as the bigger picture out there, which is getting new clients is difficult. And the reason is very simple. That client is already being serviced by somebody, and maybe they are very happy. What happens is, if your existing set of customers is where you focus and you do a damn good job of it, they end up giving you the new customers by sheer referral. And nothing works better than referral. Nothing works better. In fact, for the last 3 years, earlier in L&T Mutual Fund and now obviously HSBC Mutual Fund, we are trying to do something. And I'll just like to share that, and this is very close to my heart, this slide, and that's why I want to talk about it. And this is universally true for any AMC. And that is why I'm saying it has to be universally true for you. You have a certain set of clients, say 100 clients, who are your existing clients where the folio has units. You ask any fund house, they will at least have 150 or 200 clients as against the 100 where there are 0 units. That means this was your customer earlier. Due to whatever reason, maybe emergency, maybe he had made his money, maybe he has attained his goal, maybe he just didn't want to, or he wanted to try some tech platform, he withdrew money from your folio. And it is surprising that if you just focus on the second set of people who are 0 folio and do some data analytics out there, most of these customers, and most I'm talking about, actually have gone away with a 8% plus CAGR. Why 8% I'm referring to is I'm just referring to a little better than a bank deposit today. So if he or she has gone out with more than 8% CAGR, would it not be much easier for you to talk to your client and reconvert him or her back into becoming your client? I think it's very important. So keeping old customers, the procedure is much more simpler, and if they are happy with you, they will give you referrals, which will lead to new customers, and then the whole cycle repeats. So new customers is complex, old customers is simple, keeping them efficiently engaged is what one needs to do. So what is the strategy that we are talking about? And knowing your customer is so important. And this, by the way, as by now you must have all realized, Calvin and Hobbes seems to be one of my favorite cartoons. I love cartoons, by the way. Even today, if I want to de-stress, I read Asterix, I read Tintin, Calvin and Hobbes. I read a lot of cartoons. I find them to give us more information than some of the biggest management gurus on earth. So I do not read books written by management gurus, to be very honest with you. And here is the kid shouting, saying that the water is so hot, it's boiling, you're going to scald me, blah, 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 blah. And the mother says, okay, by the time you finish your tantrum, take off your clothes, get into the bathtub, the water is going to be just fine. And then when the kid gets into the bathtub, he says, oh, she knows me so well. And that's what is the most important thing. If you know your client so well, you know exactly what messaging to give, rather than coming out with some highly complicated thing that he or she may not be wanting to hear. Sometimes just keeping it simple makes a lot of difference when it comes to client engagement. So knowing your customer becomes paramount. And again, in continuation with knowing your customer, sometimes we teach you all bad habits. And let me tell you what are the bad habits we teach you. We say every time you go visit a client, you must do a sale. Yes or no? Yeah? We say that, right? Every time you engage with a client, you need to come back with something. The truth is no. When a client wants to be left alone, just leave the client alone. He or she will appreciate that fact much more. So here is saying that, okay, what am I doing? I'm doing nothing at all. Okay, let me help. And the person is also sitting with the client, enjoying the nature. And this is true. Every time you engage with a client, it does not have to be a sales call. In fact, what will happen is every time you engage with the client with the client's view and with the client in mind, you actually end up getting far more amount of money than what you would possibly get if you just go on a product sale. So client engagement is also about building that relationship, building that gap with the client, which leads to the client getting more comfortable with you. The client is aware that you are with them at all the time. And there are lots of memes that you have seen about Google doctors, right? That the person has done enough analysis and paralysis on Google and then goes to the doctor and says that I have this disease because I have studied this on Google. The thing is that self-help strategy, it saved money, but it lacked the personal trust. And this is where I love to talk about my favorite dialogue nowadays. We talk about, how many of you are afraid of direct plans? Can I have a show of hands? Direct plans, how many of you are afraid? Well, good. 1 or 2, 3, 4 hands, very good. Let me tell you, direct plan is your friend. Any client of yours who goes to a direct plan, welcome them to go to a direct plan. Because the day the markets correct 1.5%, 2%, 3%, 4% on one single day or 10% in a month, that client cannot put his head on the laptop or the mobile phone that he or she is using and cry. They need a shoulder to cry on, and laptop is surely not the shoulder, right? During bad times, the direct client will haunt them because you know when you are sad, what do you want to do? You want to go and talk to somebody, right? Can you talk to a machine? So, no problem. This is exactly what it is. It lacks personal touch. And in India, I don't know. At least till I retire, I can tell you personal touch will continue to be important. Okay, let's be very clear. According to me, I don't see in the next 1, 2, 3 years personal touch going away. So very, very clear, personal touch is important. Technology enables, but personal touch is important. I think that's very clear from this. And very important is ask for feedback. Always ask for feedback. And try and listen to what the customer is saying. If the customer is unhappy, the customer is worried, the customer is happy, whatever is the sentiment the customer has asked. But many a times customers don't give feedback unless you ask for it. So request your client to share their experience. Request your client to ask questions. Request your client to share their concerns, worries, share their happiness with you. Many a times a half-an-hour dialogue or a 15-minute dialogue on sharing will ensure that the bonding becomes much stronger. So clearly, this is something many of us don't do. Okay, I don't do. When I talk to you all, many times I just say, okay, this is how it is, this is what we are doing. But do I ask you every time that any feedback for us or anything you would like to share for us? I think this is important and we need to encourage it. And data gathering is very important. I shared a little bit before, right? If you focus on the 0 folio customers of yours, so if we keep digging into data, you will be surprised at the amount of gold that we can get within our own data. I mean, very honestly, can you increase your client base by 2x or 3x only looking at your existing client data? The answer is yes. Would you really want to go beyond that? It's up to you. But look within, there is gold everywhere. And very important, ask for referrals if they are not giving. If they are not giving referrals on their own, you can ask why aren't you recommending your customers? Are you not happy? And it's just something which says that he relates a fish tuna sandwich to Costco. So clearly something that he believes in. And very important, be a Calvin to your Hobbes. So be connected with your customer, and that will lead to everybody being best friends forever. So thank you so much for listening to me. I truly believe that this is something we all need to practice, including us as AMCs, and look forward to continued engagement with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kulkarni. Thank you. I'll just take that.